Hello, I'm Alex Ramsby, ConnectWise consultant here at Proval Technologies. Today I'd like to go over how to add ticket handling to your scripts. Let's get into it. So, do a quick rundown of the logic here. Of course, it fails on Windows and Linux. That's just a failsafe. It runs the shell command, and then it checks the shell command. If it contains this information, no success. And then it checks again, logs the result in the script. It can be a problem if this script is scheduled, which it is, and it runs daily, and it keeps failing, or the time machine backup is turned off. In that case, what they decided to do here, I did not write the script, but I did add the ticket handling, which is in green. They chose to use extra data fields here that it is succeeding if the data field is set to 0. Otherwise, if it's set to 1, then create a new ticket. So now let's add some ticket handling to the script and kind of work through the logic and figure out how you can apply ticket handling to your scripts in the future. So what I did first is I came down to the fail right after we create a ticket, and I set a script state. And I called it computer ID, whatever computer it's running against. This variable time name, this time machine ticket number is anything you want to call it. This is just for your reference. And then the value is the ticket ID that was just created in the step before. So I'm going to enable that. And now we have the set function in place. So now we need to set the checks and gets of each section to know whether that ticket's already created and needs to be updated, or whether that ticket needs to be closed. So in this case, let's go with it needs to be updated. So the script is run, it has set the script state, it has failed again, and now we want to come down here and create a new update section where all this section does is update the ticket. So what I did here is I just created a script note. The function for updating a ticket is ticket comment. You want to reference the ticket ID that's already in the script, so just percent ticket ID percent. You can use any user ID to update the ticket. In this case, we're just using an admin account. If we come down here to the body, this is what you want the comment or description to say inside of your ticketing system. In this case, we just said the backup has failed on this computer, add client name, location name, please investigate, here's the results from the latest run, and then we dump the shell result. So I'm going to enable both of these since we have created the update section. So now we've got the set, the create, the update, and now we need to go back and have the various checks at each phase of the ticket to know whether it needs to update or close. So we'll come back up to the top. Right after we set the extra data field, we want to know whether there's a ticket exists or we need to create a ticket. So we need to do that before we jump anywhere. So we need to get script state ID. And we're basically going to put in the same information. Computer ID, that variable that we called it, and then down here, you leave the percents off because we're describing the variable name. In this case, ticket ID with no percents or no @ symbols. Now that we're getting the ticket ID here, we also want to get the ticket ID here in case it fails. So this is if it succeeds up here. Basically, we're going to close the ticket up here, and then we're going to update the ticket down here. So now we need to get the same function right here. This right here is a variable check. Checks the ticket ID, compares it to 0. If it exists, it's going to be greater than 0. We're going to jump to update ticket, which is down here. So that's good. Going to enable that. And now if it's failed again, we also wanted to update. These are both kind of fails. They kind of do two different checks here. So we want to get the ticket ID, and then we're going to check it if it exists. And if both of those things are true, then we're going to jump to update ticket instead of create ticket. Now let's say it succeeds after the first run. So it's going to run through, it's going to create a ticket, but then the next time, day number 2, it has a successful backup. So now we want to close the ticket automatically. So you're going to come back at the very top here. If the shell not contains backup completed successfully, then jump. Otherwise, continue. We're going to log a successful backup was detected. Exiting, we're going to set the extra data field. We're going to get the ticket ID that's created. And now we're going to add a ticket finish function. Reference that same ticket ID. Again, whatever user ID account you want. And this is what the time entry is going to say in your ticketing system. And then in this case, we ran a delete SQL execute to remove the script state. This is how you would add ticket handling to your scripts. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know any comments you guys have or concerns in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back with you. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. See you guys in the next one.